So this is going to be part 3 of the Octopus Hat crochet along. We're going to be working on the inner and outer tentacles, parts of the tentacle. So you'll need your beanie cap that you made from the first video. You'll need your J-hook. And here goes the video again, zoning in and out. You'll need your J-hook. And you will need your worsted weight yarn to begin with. Later on in the video, you'll need your bulky yarn. This is the new bulky yarn I picked up from online at the lovecrafts.com. It's called Paint Box Yarns. Let's see if I can get you guys. Oh, it's gonna be backwards anyway. Anyway, it's a Paint Box Yarns. It's called Simply Chunky, and it's actually really nice. I already caked it just so that it's easier for me to pull. But it's actually a pretty soft looking yarn, feeling yarn, and it's got just the right amount of bulk that I'm looking for. It's a little bit fatter than the previous one. As I mentioned before, the bulky yarn that I was using previously, I didn't have enough of it, and it's more textured, and it's got more of a, what do you call? It's a little bit more bulky than was required. I found that out making the inner tentacles because everything was just a little too much to handle there. So I got it to work. I just had to decrease the amount of euros that I used. And today we are doing not a really major different setup. It's pretty much just the same. So Amazon couldn't get anything before the end of the month because of all the delays. So we are going to suffer through another face planting phone incident. Yay! Alright, a few things I keep forgetting to mention. If you live in Hawaii, the craft store Ben Franklin's is actually doing curbside pickup for craft stuff. So if you wanted to get some yarn and you're in Hawaii and you're like, I don't want to wait for Amazon to send it or whatever, Ben Franklin's, it does have the red heart yarn, and they are doing curbside pickup. You just order it online and then go pick it up at your more local store. And I believe that Michael's and Hobby Lobby have the same system set up as well on the mainland there. I think the only place that's really truly closed would be specialty yarn shops. And if you're making a hat using those specialty yarns, ooh, more power to you and more money to you, because those yarns are expensive. I'm working on $5 yarns here. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to mention that, especially here in Hawaii, you know, you don't really know where you can find yarn. Ben Franklin's where you can find it, and they are doing curbside pickup for you guys. So yeah, I think that's all the stuff to open up with that I needed to tell you guys. You do need the stitch markers today. The stitch markers are going to be helping you map out where your tentacles are going on the beanie hat here. So let me go ahead and turn this around and we'll get started and going. Hopefully this won't be as long as last week. I'm not going to show you guys every tentacle. I think it's better just to show you the 3 main sizes, and then you could just rewind the video as needed and follow along that way. They're all going to be the same length. That is the key with these tentacles. They're actually all the same length. They have different numbers, but they are the same length. So let me go ahead and turn the camera around, and I will get to how to place your stitch markers for your tentacles. So let's flip the camera. There we go. And boom. Auto zoom. Awesome, right? Oh my gosh. Hi, husband. Thank you. All right, so let's see. Hopefully this works. Okay, so here we have the beanie hat medium size that I made with you guys the other day. Zoom's going to go in and out. I'll try to control it as best I can today. So I have these stitch markers in what looks like a random placement. In the pattern, it calls for having 10 stitches in the front to where you don't cover your face and your eyes. So the way I set this up was that I took the back where my string is here, and I kind of just eyeballed to the middle. And what I did then was that I just like, Yeah, that's about right there. That's where I wanted it to be. And then I turned around and I counted the stitches between. So I picked a spot, and then I know I need 10 stitches. So I kind of just guesstimated at first, and then I moved from the left to the right, trying to keep it as symmetrical as I possibly can, to make sure that I got it lined up and pretty even. Pretty much wherever you sit the front is going to be the new middle of your hat. So even if you don't line it up with the back here and say you wanted it over here, that's fine. You just need to make sure you map out 10 stitches to begin with. And the way you want to count those is that in the first row, you're actually going to be doing spaces here. Again, like when we made the hat, we're doing spaces. So you're going to actually want to count the holes between here. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I have 11. Oh, how did I do this? Sorry. So yeah, I have it set up. There is 10 here. I know there's 10 here because it's all even. To where I will have 10. I think I was doing it this way. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I have it 10 set between the stitches. Woo, sorry guys. You'd think I remember these things. So I have 10 stitches here set between my markers. How you set it up is up to you. You can put it to where the markers mark your first and your 10th stitch, or you can have it mark your betweens here. So I've got my 10, I've got my front, I've got my new middle. Now I went to my right. Remember, this is my left, this is my right. I went to the right, and the next number I needed was 7 stitches. Let's see. So this time what I did is that I made this one my first stitch. So my stitch marker marks 1, and then out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So from the first stitch marker to the 7th, and then the one after that is where I put my next stitch marker. Now I know that this is where my first tentacle is going to be. Okay, then I continued on. Again, I put my stitch marker in the first spot. So this next one I should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I do. Remember, I'm unlike normal. I am counting the spaces between the stitches instead of the stitches themselves. So I have the stitch marker here. I've put one after my 6th stitch, and now I need 5 on the back here. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I know I'm good there. I put a stitch marker in the one after. And then I'm going to go to the next spot, which is 5 again. And I'm going to have 1, because that's my first one, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. And then I'm going to put my stitch marker in the one after it. I need 5 again. So we're going to go 1, count the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Stitch marker again, and the 6th one after. So that's going to be my next one. I need 5 one more time. Yeah, one more time. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's all the back tentacles there are going to be 5s. Now, the next one is going to be 6 again. So I've got my first stitch marker there. I need 6. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. So I put my stitch marker in the next one. So this is my 6th. This is the 7th. I put the stitch marker in there. It's my new 1. And now I need 7 again. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then that brings me to the stitch marker that is here, that is blocking off where I did my 10 stitches in the front. So basically what you want to get, just to recap, you want to get your 10 stitches in the front, pick a direction to go, either right or left, and that's the direction that you're going to work your tentacle hats in. And that's how you're going to be able to get your tentacles all even up. So you need to have 2 in the front that are 7 stitches wide. The middle ones, back middle ones here, are going to be 6 stitches wide. And then you have 4 tentacles in the back that are 5 stitches wide. Now, as I said, the tentacle hat is going to have the same number of rows, but the widths vary. So we're going to be working into that here in just a second. and how you make them all the same size when they have different widths. So for this one, we are going to be doing a decrease stitch and the half double crochet with our J hook and our worsted weight main color here. And we're going to start by going into our first stitch, which I said was this one. Okay, so I gotta flip my hat here so that I don't go in the right direction that I want to go into. So this is my first stitch. Way I'm gonna do this is that I have to connect the yarn into the hat. So I'm just going to kind of loop it onto the hook, bring it through, and I'm going to do a chain 1. That yarn is now connected here. And I am going to do 7 half double crochets. So I'm going to do the first one here in my first stitch. Remember, half double crochet is loop, go in, pull through 1, pull through 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and again, I am working between the stitches here, just like when we made the hat. 5, 6, and 7. All right, so I have 7 stitches now. I'm going to remove this stitch marker because I'm going to need it here in a bit. So now what I'm going to do is that is our row 1. We will be doing a total of 31 rows here. So let's see if I can get to focus on that part. Well, you're not gonna focus. Oh, you're not supposed to turn around. Hi! Let's turn that back around. Intense focusing. Sorry guys, didn't mean to scare you there. All right, so to do row 2, we're gonna chain 2 up. We're gonna do 1 and 2. We're gonna turn our work, and we're just gonna work back and forth on this first tentacle here. And we're going to do 7 half double crochets all the way across. The chains up do not count as the first stitch, so you have to go in to this first stitch here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you're going to be working on the top of the stitches this time too. Instead of going between the stitches, you're now working on the top of the stitches. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And you're going to go into those chain stitches. Those are going to be your last stitch here. At least on that row. All right. So now we're going to repeat this. Same 7 half double crochets, chaining 2 up, and 7 half double crochets for another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, another 8 rows. So we're gonna have a total of 10 rows of these 7 half double crochets. Okay, so I'm gonna go and do my 10 rows of 7 half double crochets, working into the tops of the stitches. Half double crochets, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 3, and then to go up to the next row I will be doing a chain 2. And now's when we're gonna get all kinds of zoomies, I think, going in and out, because I'm actually not watching the camera. I'm trying to go a little faster here. All right, so that's my 3rd row. I have 1, 2, 3. So if you're not sure how to actually count your rows, the best way with the half double crochet is look where you have these little, they look like peaches to me, little peaches here with little splits. So where you see those little splits, it's 1 stitch. So there's 1 stitch here, 1 stitch here, and then there's 1 stitch up here. Okay, so I've done 3 rows. I need another 7 rows. I've only done 1 row. I need another 7 rows to have 10. So I already did my 2 up. I'm gonna go and keep going. With half double crochet, it's not as easy to count the rows because there's a lot more holes involved. Like normally you would spread the fabric and then you can look at the holes and count the holes and go up. Or like in double crochet, you count the post. But with half double crochet, it's a little harder to spot the stitches because it's a little harder to see the post. So if you look for those little peach shapes, I call them peach shapes, that's what they look like to me. Or Rice Krispie shape. Well, no. What is that? The frog cereal. Who can remember the name of that frog cereal? Anyway. No, it wasn't Honey Crisp. Anyway, so that's what you're going to be looking at when you go up, is that little peach shape to count the rows of stitches you've done. Oof. And this one should be the only one that has, well, don't quote me on that yet. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's not get ahead of myself. All right, so let's see. You'd think the yarn would come out easier now that it's caked, but all my bowls are occupied, so I don't have a yarn bowl to pull it from like I would normally have, unfortunately. Oh. So sometimes the yarn splits. It's okay. You just have to let it go for a second and it'll reorganize itself. Ugh. Trying to keep this far away from the camera so I don't do like hand close-ups here on you guys or face close-ups like that previous one. Alright, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 4 more. I'm losing my pattern. There it is. Okay. I am using the J hook on these tentacles on the outside because when I use the H hook, the tentacles just came out so small. I didn't like the length, I didn't like the width, so I decided to go with the J hook just to make them a little more robust and match the actual interior tentacle parts with the tentacle bubbles and stuff like that. So if you wanted to use your H hook for this part because you needed it down here to get into the hat, that's totally fine. You can even use a bigger hook than this if you wanted to. Just, I will give you a warning, these tentacles are heavy. Oh, I have most of mine done on my practice hat, and it basically crashes to the floor. It is very, very heavy. So this is going to be a really good winter hat. Just because the amount of weight it has. I'm pretty sure people will be going in nap time, but it's okay because it's a super squishy, cushy hat. So if you go nap time, you have a pillow that's right there with you. All right, so I think this is my 10th row. Let me just double count here in a second. All right, going back to my bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, I need one more. All right, and this makes 10. So once I do this, I will be done with half double crochets of 7. And I will be doing a decreasing stitch on the next row. And this makes row 10. Alright, so now what I need to do is I need to decrease to 6 stitches. I'm still doing my 2 up to increase the height. And the way I'm going to do a decrease stitch with half double crochets is I wrap and I go in, I pull through 1, I've got 3 loops on. Okay, normally at this point I pull through and I'd finish the stitch. But with a decrease, we're going to wrap again, go into our next stitch, pull through 1. I now have 5 loops on. I'm going to grab the yarn and pull through all 5 loops. Okay, so this is a decreasing stitch for half double crochet. I'm now going to complete this by doing 5 more half doubles. And at the end of this row, I will have a total of 6 half double crochets. 5, and this is my 6. Okay. I come in and I'm going to put my stitch marker here. Now I could see that I have a decreased stitch here. It's very kind of lumpy looking, and you know, I know what I'm looking for. But I don't want to be continuously looking up and down this whole row to find where I decreased at 6. Because with 6 half double crochets, we need to be doing a total of 5 rows with 6 half double crochets now. And if I'm sitting here and I have to go all the way down here and count up to, you know, whatever, 15 or whatever each time, it's going to get a little repetitive. So I put the stitch marker there and I know, hey, this was row 1. I'm going to count from there and go up. So we are now doing rows 12 through 15. So we'll have a total of 5 rows with 6 half double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm only going to put it here at the top of the stitch where I decreased for 6. Alright. Oh, don't get caught up. Alright, so that was my row 2. I'm going to chain 2 up, turn my work, go do 6 again. 1, alright, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2 up. So now I'm going to go 1, look at the peaches, 2 and 3. So I'm on my 4th row. 1. And you'll notice you don't have to turn the base of the hat anymore. After a certain point, the tentacle allows you to go flip back and forth without turning your whole project, which is nice because it's going to start getting a little wild on you. 4, 5, and 6. And that was 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, this is my last row of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so that's my 6th one, or my 5th row. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep, looking for those peach stitches, and from this stitch marker. So the next one I'm going to do is I have another decreasing stitch in this next row, and we're going to go to 5 stitches across. So again, to do that, we wrap it and go in to the first stitch, pull through, pause, wrap it, go into the next stitch, pull through, pause. We're going to pull through all the loops at the same time, and that's my decreasing stitch. And I'm going to do 4 more stitches here, so for a total of 5. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go, 5. All right, I'm going to move my stitch marker up because again, I don't want to count a whole lot. I like just counting to 5. So again, we're going to do 5 rows. So we're doing, that was row 16. We're now doing rows 17 through 20. And that's going to give you a total of 5 rows. Now, this is also how, if you wanted to add ear flaps to hats, this is the way you would do it. You wouldn't do it as excessively long, but that's how you would do the ear flaps, is that you add them on afterwards and do decreasing stitches. So let me do my chain 2 and turn back the other way and do my 5 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's row 2. Chain 2 up, turn, go back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Oh, missing it. There it is, 5. Chain 2, turn back to my work. We're doing row 4 now. 1. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. This yarn, I caked it so it'd be easier and it's still going all over the place. This is slowing me down. 3, 4, and 5. All right, so that was 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, this is going to be my last row here of 5 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I'm going to chain 2, and we're doing another decreasing stitch, and we're making it down to 4. So this is row 21 on the pattern. We're going to wrap and go in, pull through 1, pause. We're going to wrap, go in, pull through 1, grab or grab yarn over, pull through all the loops, and we're going to do 3 more half double crochets for a total of 4. Oh no, did we just do 4? No, that should be 4. So 1, 2, 3, and there it is. I have a messed up row, sorry. And 4. Okay. I'm going to grab my yarn marker here, my stitch marker, bring it back up, because again, we're doing 5 rows with the 4 half double crochets. So this is rows 21 through, or 22 through 25. We're going to chain 2, come up, and do my 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4. There we go. That's row 2. It's going a lot faster now because we don't have as many stitches, because we've decreased all the fun stitches. And 4. Oh, I think my yarn is finally going to cooperate. So that's 1, 2, 3. We're on 4 of 5. 1, 2. Whoops, spoke too soon. Yarn's not cooperating. 3 and 4. And this is the last row of 4. 1. Oh, jeez. Sorry, you guys didn't see it, but the yarn just ran off the desk. I had to catch it. 3 and 4. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. We're going to do our last decreasing stitch so that we go to 3 stitches now. Oh, almost last. So we're going to do wrap and go in, pull through 1, wrap and go in, pull through 1, wrap and pull through all 5. And then we're going to do 2 half double crochets for a total of 3. And 3. All right, so you're going to chain 2 up still. You're now working on rows 27 through 30, which is again going to be another total of 5 rows. So I'm going to move my stitch marker up to up here, so I don't have to count 30 rows to make sure I know where I am. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Up I go. 1, 2, and 3, and up we go. And I hope you guys have scissors with you. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, you will need scissors to cut your string here in a moment. 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on my 5th one. 3 stitches goes really fast. 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, to finish off this tentacle, what we're going to do is that we're going to do one more decrease here. So we have decreasing 2 stitches. And we're going to pull through all of them. And we're going to slip stitch the next stitch. So basically all we're doing is we're going into our stitch, grabbing the yarn and pulling through all loops at the same time. And that is the last stitch that we have. It kind of rounds it off here and makes it a nice perky little tentacle. To end, what we're going to do is that we're going to pull through with a chain, cut our yarn. You don't have to give it as long of a thread tail. So once our chain is done, we're going to just pull the yarn through and tighten, and voila, that is our first tentacle here on our hat. So this was our 7 wide tentacle here in the front. It's our first front one. What you would do is you would make this one, like I said, we're going to work in the same direction here, so you would do this one as the last one. Okay, so it'd be mirroring each other. So our next one is going to start here, and we're going to have 6 stitches across. So let me get my instructions up for this one. Again, we're going to have 31 rows, but instead of starting with 7, we're starting with 6. So we are going to be doing 15 rows of the 6 double crochet. That is to make up for the fact that we won't have the 7, then the 6, 5, 4, 3. This is just going to go 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, so we're going to start this off the same way as before. I need to start turning it this way. We're going to go into our first stitch here, which is actually between stitches. I'm going to go ahead and remove my marker because it's kind of in the way. I'm going to grab the new yarn, hook it on, pull it through, and do a chain 1 so that it is now secured to my hat for the most part. I'm going to do my half double crochets now, and there's going to be 6 as I go across. So that's 1, 2, back to working between the stitches here, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I know I did right because I did not take out this extra stitch marker here on the next set. Alright, so now I'm going to do my 2 up, and I'm going to do my 6 half double crochets for the rest of the row here. And it's just in this section here, and we're doing this for 15 rows. We're also, remember, on this next row, we're actually going into the top of the stitch instead of between the stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, make sure my yarn is not too crazy. All right, and then I'm going to do 6 again. Should be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yep. And turn my work and go again. Up 2. And 6. All right, so I have, looking at the peaches, 1, 2, 3, 4. What I'll probably do is when I get to my 5th row, I'll probably throw in my stitch marker, so I just I know that I have 5 there. just so that I can keep track of where I am without having to keep going back and counting here. Trying to get more comfortable. Since the camera is a little higher, I have to reach a lot further, so it's not quite comfortable for me to look through the camera and look around it or something like that. So that's 1, 2. Hang on, you guys might place plant. Let's see what happens. I'm just changing the angle of the camera so I can get a better look at my work here, and go a little faster so the video doesn't go too long, because you guys know that I'm just doing 15 rows of 6 half double. I don't have fast forward. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do is, I know this is my 5th row, I'm going to throw a stitch marker in here. Just so I know, hey, I don't have to count from the bottom anymore. I have 5 here. I can start from here and go 6, 7, 8, whatever. I'll probably do that until I get to row 10, and then I'll move the stitch marker again. And that's just personal preference. If you don't think you need the stitch markers, you can get away without using them. I just do it so I had an even placement of the tentacles in the beginning, and so that I can map it out without too much difficulty or remembering what I did. Like for this one, I knew where my tent space was. I knew where my back tentacles were going to sit. It was easier for me to map, especially when you're doing the bigger size ones. If you did a custom size, you want to know how many spaces between works out best for you. So that's when having multiple stitch markers will come in handy for you. And I mean, I'm gonna admit, I didn't start using stitch markers until the last like 6 months here, and they have really changed how I work in the round here. And planning out stuff with stitch markers is so easy now. I used to only just have one, and I used twist ties from garbage cans, or garbage bags I should say. So I mean, if you can make stitch markers out of scrap yarn, twist ties. You can go buy some. They're like $1 for 50. It's definitely worth the investment to buy some. Because they work with both knitting and crochet if you get the crochet markers, the ones that snap open. So that makes it super handy. I noticed I went a little off the grid here. You guys are starting to see a little bit more of my my desk. A little bit more of a journey on the desk here. You can see bits of yarn, projects that I have around, my other yarn bowls full of yarn bits. I have a lot of half-finished mermaids running in my office space here. I was getting them done for the craft fairs, and I found the assembly line worked best for them, and so I was making the parts and then just stuffing them in yarn bowls together, and that was how I was putting them together. And then all the spring craft fairs got canceled, and now it's like, oh well, I have 6 months to get ready again, so the mermaids are staying in pieces right now. Everything's done, they're just staying in pieces right now. So this is my 10th row. I'm just going to move my stitch marker up so that I know I only have 5 more needed to finish row 15 here. See some new people watching, although I don't know if you guys are still around. Thanks for watching, everyone. I am putting these videos up on YouTube. I'll try to remember to put a link up at some point so that you guys know where to find them all at the same time, scrolling through my Facebook feed here. I do also have them over on my Facebook business page. It's Crochet Critters by Tiff. It's one with a mermaid profile picture. And I think there's another one out there. It's my account too, but it's just from Facebook. Facebook or Instagram wouldn't talk correctly, so I had to just leave it there and claim it. But yeah, so it's the one with the mermaid profile, and that's my business account on Facebook. I do have an Instagram account, Crochet Critters by Tiff, although I haven't really been posting the octopus stuff on that site very much. I post other things, like upcoming events and projects that I'm currently working on. As you could probably tell, I mainly do ocean themed projects, just because, well, one, that's my degree, and two, I kind of really like ocean stuff. It's exciting things for me. So if you're asking for cats and dogs, my cats turn out looking like foxes, and my dogs turn out looking like bears. So they're not as cool looking as what my fish end up looking like. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and I am on my last row of 6 here. And then we'll be doing some decreasing stitches again. So 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so now we have 15 rows of 6 here. I know, because I move my stitch marker up every 5, and now I've done 15. So now what I'm going to do is, for row 16, we are doing a decrease down to 5. I swear I can count, y'all. I swear I can. So we're doing a decreasing stitch. So we're going to do our chain 2 first to get the height. All right, and we're going to do our wrap and go in. Come on, there we go. Wrap, go in, pull through 1, wrap, go into the next stitch, pull through 1. We have 5 loops on. Try to make sure that this stays in focus for this part. 5 loops on. We're going to grab the yarn and pull through all the loops at the same time. Nope, missed, dropped. If you drop it, try to save it. If you can't, then you got to start over. It's one of those stitches like that. So I'm going to start over. So it's a wrap and go in, pull through 1, you've got 3 on, wrap and go in, you pull through 1, you've got 5 on, wrap and pull through all the loops at the same time for a decrease. Now we're going to do 4 half double crochets for a total of 5 here in this row. 4 and 5. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stitch marker up, because we're going to be doing rows 17 through 20, which will give us 5 rows, including this one. So 5 rows of 5 half double crochet, and this is how we get the tentacles to be all the same length, is that we make this part as long as need be and keep the smaller bits even. So the rest of these tentacles, going back down to 3 again, we'll be doing 5 rows for each number. So this is row 3. Okay. And I do recommend that you do these outer parts of the tentacles before you do the inner parts of the tentacle, just because these are going to dictate how long your inner parts need to be. I mean, you could do it the other way, but it's not as... You'll have more headaches going the other way. Let's just put it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. because I did it the other way and I totally messed it up and I had to undo it like 4 times. So it was just better to have this being the first step. All right, so this is my 5th stitch in my 5th row. So now I'm going to do another decrease and go down to 4 stitches across here. 1, 2, focus. That's the worst part, it won't focus. All right, anyway, all right, so we're going to do a decrease in, pull out, or pull up, wrap, go in, and pull up, pull through 5, and then we do 3. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to move my crochet stitch marker up. See how easy that was? Snap, snap, done. All right, we're going to chain 2, and we're doing 4 crochet stitches across now. 1, 2, 3. And remember, it's just the top part of that stitch there on the decrease, and then up. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have one more row of 4 here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, we're doing our decrease down to 3 stitches now. So wrap and go in, pull through, wrap and go in, pull through all 5 loops, and then we do 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2. Move our stitch marker up. Yeah, there we go. Stick it in there. All right, and now we have 3 half double crochets for rows 27 through 30, which is another 5 total. So 1, 2, and on top of the stitch 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, and that gives us our 1, 2, 3, 4th. This is going to be our last row here. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and now to finish off this tentacle, we're going to wrap and we're going to do a decrease stitch, the last one here. Pull through all loops, and then we're going to do a slip stitch into this last stitch here. Pull through 1, pull through all the loops. We're going to chain 1, cut our yarn, don't cut our fingers, pull the string through, tighten the knot, and we have finished our second tentacle. Da-da-da! And again, you can see it's nice and rounded off. They are the same length. Both tentacles are 31 rows long. Okay? They start off with different numbers, but they're still the same length. Alright, so our next one is the last one I'm going to show you guys how to do, because you're going to, after this last one, you're going to know how to do all the types that we have here. And it's just a matter of repeating the 5, then going back up to a 6, and then the final 7. So this next one is going to be a 5 half double crochet in the beginning, and we're going to do a total of 20 rows of 5 half double crochet before we start decreasing. All right, so let me get my hat turned the right way here. get some stitchers away. All right, a little bit of cleaning up here. So again, I am going to be putting my hook in, moving that stitch marker because I know that's my first spot. I'm already in it. And then we're going to do our 5 half double crochets here in the beginning. So to attach it, we just chain 1, wiggle it down, tighten it up as much as need, wrap, go in, do your 1, and then we're going to do 2. Again, going back between the stitches for this one, 3, and then we have 4 and 5. All right, so I've got 5 of my half double crochets now. I'm going to go 2 up. I'm going to turn my hat, and I'm going to go back the other way. And I'm going to be doing this for 20 rows before I decrease. And again, I'll use my stitch marker for my multiples of 5 just so I don't have to keep counting down at the beginning again. And it helps me keep track, you know, instead of having to count all the time. It is a thinner tentacle here. And I think you guys will get how to do the linings if I just show you one tentacle, the inner parts. Just because I don't want this video getting too long and too complicated and a lot of dead air time. I know it's not the most exciting video, I'm sorry. But you are learning how to crochet an octopus hat that everybody seems to want, and you're understanding now why I'm not taking orders for this hat, because it is so involved. I mean, I'm doing these hats with you guys, and you can see the timestamps so far on, I mean, even if I'm not teaching, these are the real times that it takes me to make these hats. I don't have the ability to fast forward. So yeah, so now you guys can make your own and sell them if you want. There's the pattern, the person that makes the pattern has no ill will if you wanted to sell them. Just don't sell the pattern, which is fair enough. I don't think I finished talking about where my Instagram was, but it's Crochet Critters by Tiff for the Instagram as well. I did finish a project that I started with my mom 3 years ago. I finished that project today because I had the sewing machine out. I don't do just yarn stuff. I sew stuff too. I can't sew a straight line though, so I don't sew a whole lot. But yeah, Mom and I were making pillows for a while there, and embroidered pillows, and I finished it up today. The embroidery's been done forever, but I made the first pillow today, and it's kind of, I like it. But that's up on my Instagram. Instagram is Crochet Critters by Tiff. TIFF, because I'm cool like that. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, so it's got a lot of things in there. I started off with a Facebook business page for my crochet stuff, but the Instagram, I'm finding I'm on it more. It's a little bit more, it's easier to deal with, basically, and quicker. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just did 10 instead of 5, but we're going to stick that in there anyway. So I've got 10 more rows here to finish up before this part is done. So I'm still doing 5 half double crochets into the tops of the stitches. Got another 10 rows. We're doing rows 1 through 20 right now. With 5 stitches across, it doesn't take that long to do anything. These will probably work up really fast for this part here. Five. All right. almost there. So yeah, as always, if you guys are making these hats, make sure to post what you have going on, see where you're at. Next week we should be doing our last, you guys should have all your tentacles done if you're working on them, and I'll be able to go over how to make the eye bits, and then we'll go over how to put the octopus hat together. So I think next week will be our last video. I think there's no more parts after this that need to be going over. I had originally planned to put the tentacles in 2 different videos, but I think we can do them both in here. It won't be too long of a video, and you'll get how to do them. The inners are pretty much all the same, just like the outers here. It's just a matter of the number of tentacle knobbies you put on for each size tentacle, because we start off with 7, and then we go down to 6, and then we go down to 5. But like the tentacles here on the outers, the inners are the same length. All of them are the same length. All of them have the same amount of suckers on them. So it's just a matter of what stitch you start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 3 more. This makes 18. I don't have to count as much on this one. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will literally probably lose my mind if I had to do that. Because sometimes if I start counting, I can't stop counting, and if I just doing 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, I'm just glad I'm talking right now instead of counting. That's the point I'm making here. It's like having counting OCD suddenly. All right. This is row 20. All right, so that's 20. We are going to now do a decrease stitch to do 4 stitches, and we will be doing 4 half double crochet rows for 5 rows. So we're doing a decrease stitch first, and decrease. And then we're going to do 3 half doubles, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to move my stitch marker that I left all the way down here, move it up to here, and I'm now going to do 4 more rows of 4 here. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Turn my work and go. 1, 2. Probably the hardest part of this part of the tentacles would be the decreasing stitches, because they're half double, and sometimes you will forget to do them. Just frog it and go back, and make sure that you don't complete the stitch. You go into the next stitch before you complete the stitch. That and keeping count. Alright, so this is going to be my 5th row of 4s. And that completes row. Whoop, lost it. Oh. That completes rows 25. Alright, so we're going to do a decrease stitch to do 3. Decrease for the first stitch, and then 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, moving my stitch marker up to here, and now I'll do 4 more rows of 3. 1, 2, Sorry if the zoomies all in and out again. No helping it at this point. We tried to find a thing on Amazon or Best Buy, but not really an essential, so we didn't go get it. And Amazon won't ship until next month, so by that time we're done, because like I said, we're one video away from finishing up here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the last row of 3. This would be row 30. Oh, there he goes. Now we're going to do our chain 2. We're going to do another decreasing stitch to end this tentacle and make it all rounded. So we decrease, wrap and go in, pull through all 5, and do a slip stitch here into the last stitch. We pull through all loops, do our chain stitch, cut our yarn, knot our fingers, and pull it through, and voila. We have our 3rd tentacle finished, the 3rd size of tentacle that we need finished. So now we have our 7, 6, and 5. You can definitely see a difference in the widths, but as I said, they're all the same length here. They all have 31 rows. So now what you're going to do on your own is that you would finish up these last 3 tentacles here with 5. You would follow the directions for the 5 half doubles, and then you go up to your 6 half doubles, and then you go back up to your 7 half doubles, and you should finish. And when you finish, you're going to have this gap here, and that's the only gap you're going to have. You'll have tentacles spreading all the way around for the rest of it. Okay, and this finishes the outer tentacles. Now you can also see it's kind of definitely seamless right here, and that's because we worked the tentacles into the hat the same way that we made the hat. Instead of going along the top of the stitches, we went between the stitches, and then we made the transition to on top of the stitches on the next row, and that's what makes this look so seamless. So yeah, so you're going to finish up those tentacles, the rest of the outer tentacles on your own. You should have it planned out to where it's 5, 5, 5, 6, and 7 are your last tentacles to work on. So I'm going to set this aside for now, and I'm going to start showing you guys how to do the inners with the suckers and making them look cool. So for this stitch, you will need to do a specialty stitch called a popcorn stitch. I will explain how to do the popcorn stitch a few different times. It's all going to be the same explanation. It's just that it has to happen a few different times in the next part here. So we are going to be doing the front tentacle first because that's going to be the widest. You need your bulky yarn, and you need your J-hook still. You'll need some scissors and your stitch markers. You may or may not need them. You might be able to tell where they are a little bit easier because you're going to have those popcorn stitches sticking out for you. Okay, so to start off with, we need to chain 9 in our bulky yarn. So let's get our slip stitches going here. Slip stitch onto your hook. All right, and you're going to do a chain of 9. So that you're just going to start off by pulling through. We're now working in a straight line back from the rounds here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, we're still working in half double crochets, but we will be working the popcorn bobble stitches. Popcorn and bobble to me seem interchangeable, so if I say them, I'm talking about the suckers. All right, so but yeah, those are going to be worked in double crochet. So to start off here, we've done our chain 9. We are going to go third, 1, 2, 3, third chain from the hook. We're doing a half double crochet, and then we're going to go all the way across to make 7 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, Whoop. And 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now make sure you have the 7 stitch and not the knot. The knot should just be hanging out there. All right. So we have 7 half double crochets. Now this next row is where we're going to start working in suckers. So you're going to chain 2 up. It does not count as your first stitch in this one. What we're going to do is we're going to do 1 half double crochet, and then we're going to be doing a sucker. So to do the sucker, we're going to wrap, and we're going to go into a stitch, the next stitch. We're going to pull it through, and we're going to pull through 2 and stop. We're going to wrap again, go into the same stitch, grab some yarn, pull through 2, and stop. You should have 3 loops on at this point. That was our second stitch. We need to do this a total of 5 times to make this bobble popcorn stitch sucker. So that was 2, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2. And that makes our 3rd stitch. Okay, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2. That makes our 4th stitch. We have 5 loops on, but that's our 4th stitch. We're going to wrap one more time and go into the same stitch once more time. We're going to pull through 1, pull through 2, and now we have 6 loops onto the hook. We've done a total of 5 stitches into the same spot. It's going to look a little full there, but that's okay. So once we've gone through, for the 5th time, we're going to grab the yarn and pull through all 6 loops at the same time. You're going to see something cool happen there. Kind of saw it. And then we're going to do a half double crochet into the next stitch. And once we've done that, it's now got a sucker on the other side there. Okay? So we've now made a popcorn stitch, basically. It's going to look flat over here, but you flip it over, it's got the texture. So we did 1 half double crochet, and we're going to do a 2nd half double crochet, and then we're going to make another sucker. So we go wrap and go in, pull through 1, we have 3 loops on, pull through 2, stop, wrap, go into the exact same stitch, pull through 1, pull through 2, stop. We have 3 loops on. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that you guys can see this part. All right, wrap and go in, pull through 1, pull through 2, stop. We have done 3 stitches now with 4 loops on. So this is our 4th one. Wrap, go into the same spot. You're always going to go into the same spot as before, and you're always going to pull through 1 and then pull through 2. So that was our 4th stitch. Our last one here for our 5th spot. Wrap, go in, pull through 2, whoop, and now we have 6 loops on. We're going to pull the yarn through all 6 loops at the same time. Kind of closes it up. We're going to wrap and go into the next stitch and do a half double crochet. Hang on. Nope. Okay. Half double crochet here. And again, we have a popcorn. And we're going to do 1 more half double crochet. And this makes our 7th stitch for this row. Okay. So now we're going to chain 2. And we are going to do 7 half double crochets atop. Basically, we have a sucker row and then a regular row, a sucker row and a regular row. That's how this pattern goes, is that there's a regular row and then a sucker row. Okay. Woo. So with the 7 half double crochets, you need a total of 5 suckers, 5 sets of suckers, okay, before you decrease. So we're going to do our 7 here, and this is our first row of suckers that we've completed. 1, there's going to be just 1 stitch up here at the top of your popcorn, 2, And then there's going to be this longer stitch here. That's when you went back down. So that's 3, 4, 4. Get in there. New yarn. It's slippery. All right, 4. And then again, we have one here. 5. Really long one here. 6. And then 7 here. All right, so that was our regular row. We are now going to do another sucker row. So we've got to chain 2 up. We're doing 1 half double crochet, and then we're going to do a sucker or a popcorn stitch. So it's wrap and go in, pull through 1, pull through 2, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2. That makes our 4th one. We have one more to do. Wrap, go in, pull through 2. This is our 4th one, sorry. Sometimes you have to like really think about it. All right, so that's our 4th one. We have to have 6 loops on before we pull through for the final. All right, so now I have 6 loops on. I'm gonna finish off this stitch by pulling it through. I'm gonna wrap, go through. We're gonna do 2 half double crochets. When we do that first one, the bobble popcorn appears. That's a 2. We're going to do another sucker. So wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2. That's 1. Wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2, wrap, go in, pull through 1, go through 2. That is our 4th one. Yeah, this is going to be our 5th one here. You want to make sure you're doing 5 and getting 6 loops on here. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure it's, oh, there it is. Okay, and then pull through there. When you pull through, you can kind of stick your thumb and it kind of helps to make the pop out the correct way there. And then we have 2 half double crochets. And that is our second set of suckers. Second suckers. And they look really cute, right? They're little baubles. These are probably the cutest tentacle suckers I've ever made, are these little baubles. So we have our baubles. That's 2. And I said we needed 5. So I've got 3 more to make. So we're going to do our regular row of 7 half double crochets. 1. Again, there's 1 here for 2. And then there's a long one here for 3. And then there's the short one for 4. And another short one for 5. And then a long one for 6. And then one more for 7. Yeah, okay. We're going to chain 2. And this is going to be a sucker row. So we are going to be doing 1 half double crochet. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. I wish it would just like stay no autofocus, but no luck. All right, so we have 1. Now we're going to do the sucker, which is 5 stitches in the same stitch. Pull through 2, pull through 1, pull through 2, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2. That's the 4th one, and this is going to be my 5th one. If you're never sure how many you've done, remember you want 6 loops on, and that's how you know you've done 5. So you're going to wrap and pull through all 6 loops. Use your little thumb, poke it through. Half double in the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. And time for another sucker. Wrap and go in, pull through 2. Wrap and go in, pull through 2. Wrap and go in, pull through 2. Whoop. Alright, that's my 3rd one. Wrap and go in, pull through 2. That's my 4th, and this is going to be my 5th. Wrap and go in and pull through 2. Alright, I've got 6 loops on. Pull through all at the same time. Poke my thumb through. You can kind of squish it around if you need to. So tighten it up and do 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. Alright. Now we're going to chain 2 up and do our regular across here. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so I've got 3 on here now. Aren't they cute? There it is. They're so cute. Little tentacles, and they're so independent. Woo! Alright, I've got 2 more sets of tentacle to do. This one is my tentacle row, so I'm going to wrap and go up 2 and start my tentacles. I'm going to do a half double crochet first, and then we're going to do a bobble stitch to make the sucker. 2, 3, 4, whoop, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's proper one. Pull through all at the same time. Next stitch is going to be a half double crochet here, and then we're going to do another half double crochet here, and then we're going to do a bobble stitch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The secret to the bobble stitch is doing the 5 stitches here in the same exact spot, and then cinching them together with one final pull through there. And then it pops out because you go down to the next stitch as a half double. And we have 2 half doubles here to make the 7. 1, 2. All right, so we're going to do a row of 7 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so that's 7. This is going to be our last row of suckers that we're going to do with 7. So we're going to wrap and go in, do 1 half double, wrap, go in. We're doing a bobble stitch here to make the sucker. 3, 4, and 5. All right, pull through all 6 loops at the same time. Do 2 half double crochets, and then bobble for the last bobble for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, I was only supposed to do 5. Hat. You can do 6 if you want, but 5 is most recommended. 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay, so pull it through. See, once I start counting, I don't stop. 2 half double crochets. All right. So now we have 5 sets of tentacles here at 7. We need to do a decrease, and we are going to do a decrease here on our normal row. So we're going to chain 2 up, and we need to decrease to 6. So just like before, it's a half double crochet decrease. We go into the first stitch, pull through, stop, wrap, and go into the next stitch, pull through, grab all the yarn, put it together, and that is our decrease stitch. And now we're going to do 5 more half double crochets across, and that makes the 3rd stitch, 4th stitch, 5th stitch, and then 6th stitch here. So now we have 6. This next row is a sucker row. We are still going to have 2 where's the zoom spot, because you can actually kind of see it on this. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so you have, and still do the 2 stitches between the bobbles, but instead of 2 at the end here, you're just going to do 1 here, 1 here. So it's 1 bobble for number 2, 3, 4 bobble for stitch number 5, and then 6. Okay, so we wrap and go in for a half double, And then we're going to bobble. 1, 2. The bobbles are the same size. Okay, the bobbles are not going to change in size. What's changing in size is the number of stitches between the bobbles and the number of bobbles on the whole thing. 3, 4, and 5. Pull through all 6. Half double crochet 2 times. 1 and 2. And then another bobble stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through all 6, and then just 1 half double crochet here. Okay, and then we're going to climb up to chain 2 up. So you can see we have our little bit of a decrease here. Now when we're working with the 6, the pattern does have the diagram of what we're looking at here. So with the 6 half double crochets, we just need 2 sets of bobbles here. Okay, so we're going to do a 6 across at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, we're going to do one more set of bobbles with 6 here. So we're going to wrap and go in for 1, and then we're going to bobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches in the same spot. Pull through all 6 loops. Half double crochet, half double crochet, create a bobble, so wrap and go in, pull through 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Grab the yarn, go through all 6 loops, 1 half double crochet. All right, so as I said, we only needed 2 bobbles for the 6 half double crochet here. Okay. If you're finding it's a little holy, you could spread out the stitches within your bobble just by pulling on the back of them, and that won't be as they won't be as tight. Go back in the focus. There you go. So they won't have as many gaps and holes between them if you do that. So you can see we have quite the decreasing going on here. So the next row here, we are going to do a decrease down to 5. Okay, because we want to decrease before the bobbles. So we're going to do a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4. I missed a stitch on. There it is. Okay. If you missed a stitch, just look at the little gaps here. So that's a 3, 4, and 5. All right, so now I've got 5 stitches, but I'm going to make some suckers on this row. All right, so this time for the 5 stitch bobbles with suckers, we are going to do 1 half double, bobble, 1 half double, bobble, 1 half double. Okay, and that gives you 5. And for 5, we need to do 3 bobbles. A total of 3 bobbles. So 1 half double, bobble, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull through 6, 1 half double crochet, bobble, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and bobble, or finish the bobble and half double crochet there. All right, so that's 5 total stitches. So we're going to chain 2 up. we're going to do a regular 5 half double across. 1, 2, 3 gets hit in a bit times, 4, and 5. All right, so you can really see the decreasing of the tentacles now, and you can count them. We're doing 15 rows of suckers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we're almost done here. We have two more sets of baubles for the 5. So this is a 1, and we're on the back here, so I know I need a bauble. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull through 6 loops, do a 1 double crochet or half double crochet, and then we're going to bobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 more for 5, and then we're going to half double crochet to finish off that row. All right, so the baubles are facing us, the suckers are facing us, so we're going to do a regular 5 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There it is. And 2 up. And I know I need to do another row of suckers, bobble, so there's 1. And then we're going to bobble. Bobble, bobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through all 6 loops. 1 half double crochet. Bobble again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through all 6 loops and go 1 more half double crochet. Okay, so now we have done our 3 rows with half double crochet with a count of 5. So now we're going to do a count of 4. So we're going to do a decrease. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Now the 4 sections are only going to have 1 sucker on them, or 1 bauble instead of the 2s that we were doing before. So for this one, we're going to do, ooh, I almost made face planted the camera. I thought I was doing so good. So for this one, we are going to do a half double crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to do a bobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, went too far. All right, and pull through all 6 loops there, and then we're going to do 2 half double crochets to finish off the 4. Yeah, that's the wrong spot. You want to make sure you get the top of the stitch, not beneath the stitch. There we go. So that's 4. You can chain 2 up. Baubles are facing us. We're going to do 4 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. We're going to chain 2 up. This is going to be our last bauble. We only needed 2 rows of baubles at 4. So half double crochet into 1, bobble, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull through all 6 loops, Do 1 and 2. And then this next row is going to be a decrease down to 3. So we're doing a decrease stitch here. It's a half double decrease. All right, and then we're going to do 2 half double crochets for a total of 3s here. Now you still can do bobbles with 3s. These are probably going to be the quickest and cutest bobbles of the whole thing. All right, so we're going to chain 2 up. Oop. We're going to wrap and go in for 1 half double, and then the next stitch is a bobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, pull through, and we're going to half double crochet in the last stitch here, and that is our 3rd stitch. We're going to chain 2 up. We're going to do a 3, 1, 2, and 3. Diagram calls for 3 bobbles with 3 here. So that's our first bobble. This next row is going to be a bobble stitch row, and it's going to be our second. 1, bobble, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull through, and half double crochet, and then chain 2 up, and we're doing 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2 up. This is our last bobble that we need to do for this, so that's 1 half double. Then we're doing bobbles. Again, make sure the bobbles, you're pulling through 2. So you grab, pull through 1, pull through 2, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2, wrap, go in, pull through 1, pull through 2, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on. Pull through all 6 loops. Half double crochet in the next stitch. That is our last stitch for this row. All right, and that was our last bobble. So we're going to chain 2 up, and this next row is a decrease. We're going to decrease by 1 stitch here. I'm going to pull it through. Let me make sure that this was the right way to do it, because I modified it a bit to myself. Yep, okay. So, let's see, that's row 26. Yeah. All right, so and then you're going to, after that decrease stitch, you're going to slip stitch into this last stitch, pull through everything, do your chain 1. You're going to cut a tail, not your finger. Yep. And then you're going to pull the yarn through, knot it off, and you have now finished the inners of your tentacle. Woo! It kind of goes a little wonky here. That's expected, to be expected, because you went from 5 to 4. And then from 2 to 1, but it still works out. It still turns out really, really cute in the end here. So to do the rest of these, what you would do is instead of starting with 7, you start with 6. Okay, and then you would do 6 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7. Okay, because remember, the tentacles are all the same size. Now, the fun part with these inner parts here is that as long as you decrease down to 3 and you keep the beginning part what you need it to be, you can do any number of combinations as you want. Say you're doing your 5s. You can do 5, or say you're doing your 6s, sorry. So you're doing your 6s, which would be about here. Okay? You could do your 6s all the way down until, you know, and then just do 1 row of 5 and then do the rest in 4. There is this way where it's a nice even decrease all the way down, but you can mix and match as needed. As I was saying before, when I was doing these for myself, my yarn ended up being a lot bulkier, so my tentacles, when I did 15 bobble rows, turned out double the size. So I had to go through and decrease everything. And that's totally okay. They turned out totally cute and workable, and I can show you guys them. So these only have 10, and I changed colors on them too. So these only have 10 sets of bobbles, but as you can see, I was still able to start off with 7 and decrease it down to 5 and then 4 and 3. And it kind of just, sorry. So yeah, and so if you need to decrease or increase the amount you need to match what you've made on your lining part or the outer part tentacles, go for it. That's totally acceptable and fine. This pattern allows you to have that ability to change and adapt as needed. Okay, so you will, to measure up, to make sure you have the right numbers here. So you would line it up here at the top and just kind of lay it along, and bam, perfect fit. You're not going to sew these together yet. We're going to put them together in their next video here. So we'll be working on that. But that's what the lining looks like. Isn't it cute? Little bobble suckers. And it's so wiggly. Okay, anyway. Alright, so that's how you make the bobble inners. If you have any questions about this one, just send me messages, let me know. I know I only went through, sorry, I'm going to turn it around so you guys can. So yeah, I only went through a little bit of the stitches because it's all repetitive. It's all done, you know, these are all the same size for me. This one you make 2 of total, and then you turn around and just decrease and do less and less and less. Okay, so there's a lot of repetition to it, so you don't really have to I don't really have to show you guys every time. If you get confused on the bobble stitch, just rewind. I've said it a couple times. You can follow along. You can make all your tentacles the same size if you wanted to, and just attach them wherever you wanted to. Like I said, this is a really it's a really fluid kind of pattern, and you can do whatever you want with it. So that's going to be it for the tentacle video here. You guys are going to finish up the tentacles and work on them on your own as for the next week. Next week we're going to go over how to make the eyes, the eye bits, and then we'll do how to put it together, and then that'll be the last video. And then you guys will have the power to make your own octopus hats. And yeah, and if you ask me for one for yourself, I'm going to tell you to watch the videos. So anyway, yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you guys next week. So keep a lookout for what video 4 will drop when it will drop. All right, that was really, anyway, have a good afternoon, guys. Good evening. Bye.